All right, so you've had a moment to think about the questions of is it a food, is it a supplement, what type of health claims. So what's the answer? Which is a food, which is a supplement? The Green Giant Immunity Boost, of course, is a food, and the Cheerios is also a food. What makes this a supplement is you can see the form. It also says right there, dietary supplement. They want to make it really clear to the FDA how it is that they want to be regulated. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. Which are the health claims and which are the structure function claims? These here are structure function claims, and this is an actual health claim. The language here it says to help support a healthy immune system. And here it mentions supports once again. Another clue that this is a structure function claim is to look at all of the asterisks after everything. All of these statements, even improves memory, has an asterisk after it. The asterisks are usually followed by disclaimers that say this statement has not been reviewed by the FDA. So I'm getting ahead of myself. This here, though, is a health claim. You can see that the words are really active. It lowers, it makes the claim to lower it. And even though cholesterol is not a disease, cholesterol is recognized as a component that causes disease, namely coronary health disease. And so because the claim is to alter the function or the structure in the body in a way that has impact on disease, it's considered a health claim. All right, so once you've figured out what type of product you have and what type of health claim or structure function claim you have, I want to talk about how the FDA decides what type of language to allow. Are they going to let you go ahead and say that it helps build strong bones? Or are they going to let you say that your product prevents osteoporosis? These are the issues. For a health claim, if a manufacturer wants to use active language, because people will more likely to buy their product if they can directly make the connection between their product and a disease. What the FDA does is it takes in their application and gathers together a panel of experts. And the panel of experts look at the evidence in the scientific literature that support that health claim and decide if the evidence supports a standard that's called Significant Scientific Agreement, or SSA. And this is a standard, it's a phrase like beyond a reasonable doubt that has a lot of meaning for people who are trying to apply it. But basically it's a gathering of experts, and they know how to read the scientific literature, and they know the area that this health claim is being made in, and they are qualified to review those claims and decide if the health claim is really true or not. For a qualified health claim, this health claim, you can't apply for a qualified health claim. Instead, if you make a health claim but your health claim is rejected, you can qualify the statement by saying that there's support but it's not proven. And the standards for that is that there's enough evidence for a relationship between the food or food component and the disease that it's close to being able to make a health claim, but it's just not quite there yet. So in that case, they will make them qualify that health statement, but they will allow it. Now, on the other hand, a structure function claim, if your health claim is denied, then the only thing that you can do is to make a structure function claim. And structure function claims have to be truthful and they can't be misleading, but it's up to the manufacturer to decide whether the evidence is good enough. At no point does the FDA review the information in a structure function claim unless the language veers over across that borderline into a health claim. And at that point they come back and say, you just said something that makes you a drug. Are you sure that you want to go through clinical trials and all that to try to prove to us that you are both safe and effective? And at that point what usually happens is the manufacturer will modify the statement on their packaging. So, but for structure function claims, the FDA does not have to approve the rating, and it doesn't have to be, it can be done, approved using standards that the manufacturer is convinced by, and the manufacturers are not experts. All right, so let's just look at what a manufacturer considers sufficient evidence. So we're going to take this case of the Green Giant Immunity Boost vegetable blend. So the statement was that it's naturally rich in antioxidants, vitamins A and C. And the FDA regulates words like naturally and rich. And there's a section of your textbook that we're not going to go into. It's a numbers thing. But the claim is that vitamins, antioxidants, vitamins A and vitamin C help support a healthy immune system. Okay, so what is the evidence? Well, here's the manufacturer's evidence. It is well documented that vitamin A and vitamin C play an important role in supporting immune function. Well documented. They don't say that here's a specific study which proves it. They don't use scientific evidence. Instead, what they use is their impression. So, what does the scientific evidence say about vitamin A and C and supplements and how it affects the immune system? Well, you would think that if this supports a healthy immune system, why would you want to buy the product? It's because you know that your immune system keeps you from getting sick, and you think that your immune system is not going to work in fighting off infections unless you take this. So what people have done is there are actually clinical trials where they gave a group of healthy individuals, and the sample size was good, 2,300 people, much more than 300, and they made them, asked them, they volunteered, I suppose, to take daily supplements which had a combination of the 3 vitamins that have antioxidant properties, vitamins A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And they had them take it daily for 18 months. Over those 18 months, they tracked their reports to the doctor. They tracked the number of days that they called in sick, and they tracked the number of times they visited the hospital. Now, if it had an effect on the immune system, then you would expect to see fewer visits to the doctor, fewer sick days, etc. But in fact, what they found is that the treatment and control group had absolutely no difference for any of these measures of what a healthy immune system should do for you. So that's what the manufacturers use as evidence, just their general impressions, perhaps what they heard on Good Morning America. So what does it take to meet the FDA's standards for SSA, Significant Scientific Agreement? So when they get their panel together, they consider things on a holistic basis. This is a bunch of people sitting around and talking, not too different from a jury, a meeting of juries. what they do, they consider, their instructions say, look at the type of studies that support it, and they're given the guidelines that a clinical trial is the gold standard. It's better than correlational studies, and animal cells studies and cell studies alone cannot support cannot meet the criteria for SSA. Then they look at the number of studies. One is not enough. Multiple studies is better. They look at the quality of the individual studies. Did they use a placebo? Was it double-blind? What was the sample size? They look at how large of a magnitude of effect it is. If you can show that something increases your HDL levels by 1%, it may be statistically significant, but if it's not enough to make a noticeable change in people's health, they don't allow it. And finally, if there are multiple studies, the multiple studies have to agree. And you can see that there may be circumstances where there are a lot of studies that have been done. Some of them agree, but maybe one that was a very strong study didn't agree. Under those circumstances, they would probably decide to make that a qualified health claim. Okay, so let's do a little practice. Given these panels and what you've already figured out about the type of claims that have been made and about the type of products that they are, which claim that's on these labels has met the FDA's SSA standard? Did you get the Cheerios? Yep. Cheerios is a food product. Supplements are never reviewed for SSA. And because it doesn't have any of these language in here that qualifies it, it's an active word. This is a health claim, and health claims, the only way that they get onto the label is if they meet the SSA standard. Okay. All right, so in conclusion, let's work backwards from what we're interested in. What we want to know is if you pull a product down on the shelf and it says something on there, you want to know, is it true? Do you look for whether it says clinical trials or whatever? What you can do is use the fact that it's a product sold in the United States, and if it has the language that says it's a health claim, then it means that you can rely on it. A panel of experts has gotten together, they've done all the grunt work for you and evaluated the literature, and you can rely on that statement being true. Okay, if a statement is sold in the United States and it's a structure-function claim, either it's a structure-function claim on a dietary supplement or it's a structure-function claim on a food, it means that the evidence to back it up is not been reviewed by anyone except the manufacturer. And as we can see from the Green Giant example, the standards that the manufacturers use to support their structure function claims are not very rigorous.